Like we were right, it's hit the fan. So let's dive in and talk about it.
Here's a quick tip for the trolls out there. Did you know?
There's your quick tip, trolls. Anyways, welcome back. It is Sunday Night Live, what we call a zoo, where we get together with YouTube, thepreparedmind.club, and subscribestar.com. The latter two, the club and Subscribestar. That's where you can sign up as a premium member that also allows you Monday through Friday to participate live in the afternoon. Folks, this is the zoo, though. This is Sunday Night Live, where we're all here. And if you want to participate, we've got a super chat button up here. You've got, let's see, PayPal, Venmo, CashApp, a number of different ways that you can get your questions, your thoughts. It's like a megaphone that is going to reach out to thousands of people, your ideas and concerns, and it helps people. You see, that's really what we're trying to do here, is help people get prepared. It's that important. It's go time, folks. We're getting very close to where I think things are going to get nasty. And I don't mean very close like, well, tomorrow, I'm not going to do that with you. But I think by the 2024 campaign season, when it hits hard, it is going to become, well, I think using a word less than violent would be not doing it justice as a prediction. But right now, we're already seeing some tempers flare when it comes to what's happening with, well, Trump. And it's not even, folks, it's not even campaign season. Yet we're seeing incredible amounts of violence. That's right. Threats, just ridiculous behavior coming from the left. So this is your chance, folks. This is how we do it. Every week we talk about what has happened last week, what has gotten us to where we're at today, what happened this weekend, and then where do we go in the future? Often to Tomorrowland. Well, it's an ugly mess, and I'm coming at you live from the bunker. Folks, I'm strapped in, right? I hope you are too. We've got some great questions lined up, got some great contributions, and I want to do one bit of good news. Some good news is I now am a grandfather. I can't remember if I even said anything last week, but it's official. Everything has come out great. And in a month or so, I'm going to travel back to occupied territory. Somehow I've got to get it together and get my ass to California to say hello to the newest member of this family. I got to be careful not to say the last name. But yeah, I'm extremely happy and extremely proud. My son Lucas is a father, and that makes me a grandfather. That means there's more of us, and that's a good thing. Now, the fruitcakes, the ding-dongs, the dipshits, right, the freaks, they're not reproducing because, this doesn't make babies. Anyways, that's why they need to groom your kids. Oh, we'll be talking about that tonight, too. It is an all-out war. Have no doubts, folks. And I don't say that with glee, with happiness, but it is an all-out war against us. And it's interesting. It has gotten so bad already that Democrats are defecting and going, hey, we're taking this too far. Number one, well, let me just go with this. Geraldo Rivera. He does not like what's happened with Trump. Geraldo Rivera. Left-wing fruitcake, Mr. Mustache himself, Mr. Ego himself, Mr. Cocky, arrogant man himself says, no, this has gone too far. And then the judge that tried speaking at Stanford University. That's right, folks. A federal judge went to speak at Stanford and was shouted down, harassed, threatened, and met with all manner of bad behavior by Stanford law students. Well, guess what? Right? A liberal lawyer has come out and said, no, that's not how this works. he's going to probably file charges because Stanford has not done anything to those students as far as punishment or any way, shape, form, fashion, reprimanded them. In fact, the students went after the dean after he tried apologizing. Well, there's a rule in the California Bar Association that if you don't have proper decorum, if you don't meet the ability to speak intelligently, then you have no business as an attorney. You need to respect other people, speak respectfully, and get this, right? Allow freedom of speech. And to deny that, right, they say disqualifies you. And on top of that, 2 attorneys, I believe, in the California Supreme Court said, guess what? It was either that or it was the Ninth Circuit, said we are no longer, from now ever again, taking Stanford law students as clerks into our courts, because this is what they're creating there. They're creating violent, radical, anti-law students. They are anti-law, folks. The entire left wing, though, is anti-law. These left-wing attorneys, I don't know what makes them think they're a whole lot better. What are they doing? They're screwing you over. They're stealing your rights out from under your nose and using fancy words and referencing other law cases doesn't justify the absolute theft and destruction of this country. So, that said about that, there's a fight going on, and it's getting louder. And I don't expect it to stop. Maybe the law students will shut their pie holes, but don't you worry, folks. Antifa is out there. Black Lives Matter is out there. The communists, they're out there, and they're coming for you, me, and all of us. So, we got Jolene in the background. We've got Uman out front, and he's changed the rules. If you want to comment, if you want to join the comment section, all you have to do is subscribe. You don't have to subscribe and wait 30 minutes. Just subscribe. You get out of hand, and that big blue wrench, though, is going to come down on top of your head and get you kicked back out of here. Now, folks, this is the one channel where freedom of speech is allowed, but being an asshole is not, right? If there's anyone here who's an asshole, it's me. And if you want to talk to me, all you got to do is a super chat donation. That'll get your comments here, and we'll talk. And I really want hard questions. I do. I want hard questions because these are hard times. And I've said for the past 10 years, I need you to be hard, tough, coarsened, right? Thick-skinned, because SHTF is not, folks, about being all soft and kind. These liberals that like shouted down the judge, I get it. I know what game they want to play with you. I know what game they're going to try and play with me. I'm ready for them, and I have been. Foul language. Right? What did they say to the judge? We hope your daughters get raped. That's awful. But it didn't surprise me because I am ready for these people. I know what they're up to. Right? Go ahead. Find me on the street somewhere. See how you do with an old man. Crazy little shits, I tell you. Anyways, let's do this. Oh, yeah. $50 super chat donation will go in this shot glass here. That's right. The bullet shot glass with the 308 round in it. That is that. And that will, folks, fund the Go See Your Grandson Fund. I kind of like that. Instead of the GTFB and SB fund, it's Go See Your Grandson Fund. Let's see. GSYG. The GSYG. Go See Your Grandson Fund. All right. Well, guess what? I'm going to accept this first donation as just that. This is from Darcy T. And she kicks off tonight's show with a $50 super chat donation. And I've got the bottle of Glenlivet right here. The shot glass here. And it's a big one. It has the pour point is the bullet. Oh, right out the gate, a good start. And Darcy says this. Here's my question for tonight. With all the ATM disappearances and bank branch closures, do you think it signals that the central bank digital currency, the CBDC, will be rolled out sometime this year? Well, Darcy, the subject of, local banks, national banks, the subject of currency And digital currency and cryptocurrency and the idea of a central bank digital currency, it is catching a lot of attention. It is very serious, very serious. China already has this system in place. It ties your finance with your social credit score. It's a way to control you and see everything you do. Now, what I don't really understand is how they can't do that already. We've heard over the last few months that some banks and some credit card companies wanted to track your ammunition and your gun sales or purchases. And like they don't already do that? Apparently not, I guess, if they're trying to make a big deal out of it and then they get slapped down. Very fascinating stuff. But what makes the central bank digital currency different than you doing electronic transfers of currency from your bank account to another bank account, or from your credit card to a bank account that gets charged back to you? Right? What's the difference between a central bank digital currency and the current fiat money system, the US dollar, through that's right, the Federal Reserve Bank system? Well, the one difference is one is a currency and the other is a central bank digital currency. Is CBDC, is that owned by you? Like when you pick up a dollar bill, right? It says the bearer of this note, all payment, all good to pay all debts, public and private, yada, yada, yada. Right? CBDC, that cannot be used to satisfy, well, I don't think so anyways, in exchange from, say, me to you. I go to your garage sale and I say, how much for that widget? And you say, well, that widget there is $10. And can I transfer from my CBDC account to your central bank digital currency account? Well, maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe you're on a list. Maybe I'm on a list. Maybe they say, yeah, you can make that transfer all day long, but guess what? You're going to pay a tax and it comes right out. You pay the tax right off the bat. Is that a possibility? It is. And then they keep track of who you come in contact with. This is the major concern, is them tracking everything. And you cannot make a transaction without them knowing about it, having the potential to tax you for it. And here's another thing. Central bank digital currency. Could it be like an EBT card, that is to say a welfare card? It could. It could be like that, where it's only good for purchasing here or there. Or maybe they say, hey, half of your CBDC has to be used to purchase food, and only 25% can purchase fuel. And only 25% is discretionary, meaning clothing or other things. In other words, they can limit where you go. They can limit what you buy, right? Say you wanted to go on a vacation across the country and they're like, haha, we don't think so. That's going to burn too much carbon, right? Another one was CBDC, the currency dollars that they control, disappear. They want you to take that money and go spend it, and so it gets taxed. Maybe they say, yeah, that money expires. You can't save it up. You can't save it. You can't buy it. And I wonder this too. Are you going to be allowed to buy gold and silver with it? Will you be allowed to buy ammunition and guns? See, notice I'm using the word allowed. It's their currency, and they are going to allow or disallow. Now, to a large extent, even though people don't want to accept it, understand this. Right now, your US dollars, those don't belong to you or me either. Those belong to the Federal Reserve, and we borrow them. We use them. They are a debt instrument. And right, if they want it, they keep it. They don't have to let you spend it. Right? They can deny a purchase anytime they want. They can shut your bank account down. And you are not safe, and I am not safe. They shut down President Trump's bank accounts. Folks, this is the war we're in, for control of your mind. If they can convince you to give up control of your life, then they own the rest of you. All right. Thank you, Darcy T, for that great kickoff. And then we also want to thank Michael Brown, who sent a 223 super chat donation. Thank you, Michael. He sent that through CashApp. If we see a Michael Brown question out there, go ahead and throw it to me, Jolene Uman. He always has some amazing questions. Now, where do we go from here? Back in the bunker, ready to roll. I want to say hey to Chin Music. Sent a picture into Jolene, and she got it to me. I like the shirt, man. He's got an LGBFJB community shirt on that he wears to the gym and in public. Dude, that is awesome. I know you must make a lot of friends with that one. Anyways, while we've got him here, Chin Music, he made a $22.23 super chat donation that goes into the Go See Your Grandson Fund. Anyways, thank you very much, Mr. Chin Music. Let's see, do I have a question here? I don't see a question. So get your question in to Jolene so that she can get it up on screen. And there it is. He says, John, I don't have a question. Can't watch today. Just wanted to make a donation and say thanks to you, Uman, Jolene, Kaz, Mr. T, and anybody else who pitches in to give the Prepared Mind family a place to come and remind ourselves that we are the sanity in this world. Semper Fi, and thanks, brother. I tell you what, Chin, I'm sure, and I'm hoping you'll watch this later. But yes, it is a place where we can come and we can join back with sanity. It's incredible. I think it was Orlando got a hold of me today and said, we've gone past Animal Farm. We've gone past Orwell's 1984. I think he said Animal Farm. Anyways, 1984. Where are we at? And I was like, I don't know. I think we're right at Atlas Shrugged. The stupid that the government was doing in the last 25% of that book was just amazingly stupid. I was like, it could never be like that in real life. Yet here we are. The destruction intentional of the whole country and the entire system. That's where we're at. That's what we've got. And wow. And we're heading to idiocracy. Unfreaking believable. Well, it is your show. It is Sunday Night Live. So what do you guys want to talk about? Jolene, who do we want to put up? Who wants to be famous? Who wants to come in there? And it is ENG1142, and he is now a YouTube member. Thank you very much, ENG. Cool. We got YouTube members. We've got all kinds of members. Your membership helps keep us, well, in the bunker, helps keep us broadcasting on a daily basis. It keeps a lot of people with their nose to the grindstone watching the news, interpreting events, putting pieces of the puzzle together so we can see what's happening. And it's happening, folks. It's happening bigger than shit now. It is no longer a question of when will shit hit the fan. If it will, it is here, it is now, and they are taking us down peg by peg by peg by peg by peg. It is a complete mess. Thank you very much, Jolene. Who do we want to run up there next? Oh, Jiminy Crickets. We've got Blue Cord Devil with a 57.62 super chat donation. I got this one again, and I've got the bottle of Glenlivet. And let's pour off another one and get this thing started. Woo! I tell you, folks. Thank you, Blue Cord Devil. Woo! Like mother's milk. Blue Cord says, just to help start the show off right. Got my Scottish water ready also. That is a fine Scottish water. I want to thank you guys for supporting the show and everything we do here. It is important. Before the show, Uman and I were talking. What is going on with social media? We were talking about one channel that we watched start. It grew up somewhere like it started 6 years ago or so. and it's got like 2.1 million subscribers. 2.1 million subscribers. He makes a video and it gets 5,000, 10,000, maybe 15,000 views. Why? With that many subscribers, why are his numbers so low? Like, it was less than 1% watch his stuff. Why would you subscribe unless you're going to watch, right? I tell you guys, you show up on my show, hey, I want you to subscribe. Hey, I want you to hit that notification bell. So when stuff comes out, you're ready. We've got backup channels in the description down below, backup channels. Go check those out, hit subscribe on those, and hit the notification bell there too, because we get strikes. And when strikes happen, right, I'm gone for a week, but I can go to another channel, have my brother Jimmy do some broadcasting in my stead. Anyways, this is quite incredible what's going on, right? How many people are being silenced? And I've talked about this in the past, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, there were a lot of great information providers. They were digging, they were doing literal research and investigative reporting. And they would come out with some incredible information. Well, they ruined them financially by taking away their views, taking away their income, and they couldn't support an office staff full of people. Right? They're still doing that. They're still cutting people back so they can't make a go at it. And so thankfully, this audience right here, because you folks take that internet address right up there and you share it with people. And I ask that again, you do that now. Share that address right now and get people here so they can wake the hell up. Thank you there, Oliver. Yeah, they need to wake the hell up. And it is your support of this show that keeps us here. Right? We get thousands and thousands and thousands of views also. We've got 80,000 subscribers. Right? But they're trying to make us go away. They're trying to dissuade you, trying to discourage you. I tell you, we've got a lot of crazy stuff going on. Christine Bihana says, I've got a new screen name and it is CyberHana. I got you. So CyberHana, we got you on the board. We know about it. Okay, let's do this. I've got a lot of comments, a lot of things I want to bring up, but we're going to start with your stuff first. You guys, if you want to do a super chat donation, right? I want to get you on screen. So let's do that. Jolene, who do we have up next? Yankee Watchdog. 5556 that's a huge super chat donation. Thank you, sir. And he says, see one, play one. Here we go. Good golly. I'm going to see if I can keep all my verbs and adverbs together. But don't worry about the pronouns. I think I've got that covered pretty well all by myself. Ooh. Okay, the medicine has gone to work, folks. All those old injuries, no worries. All right. Do we have another super chat donation? And Cottage Farm is back in the house with a $20 super chat donation. And she said, well, if there's any day that required drinking, it's the Sunday before SHTF week. Damn. Bankers Strange YouTube has me maxed at $20. That's interesting. They are bankers, folks. They're all bankers. Once they're controlling money, they're bankers. I used to think PayPal was a payment service. Isn't it funny how it all started out all cute and small? And then you find out it's owned by the banks. It's just another way to get us used to doing digital transactions, right? Transactions through the digital internet. Right. And then what I find out the other day, Venmo, is it Venmo or CashApp is owned by, that's right, Jack Dorsey, the evil gnome who created Twitter. I think his is CashApp. And it's like, dang it. What do you do with these people, right? Well, what do you do is right. Just keep fighting them. Keep fighting them. Now, there's a fight that is going on. Now, there's this expression. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. right? So the enemy of my enemy, well, he's my friend because he's got the same enemy. Folks, who are enemies and who are friends? On the world stage, allies are lining up and picking sides. This is nothing new to humanity, to empire, to history. It is very common, in fact. Very common. Before World War I, nations around the world chose sides. Before World War II, nations once again chose sides. And now, folks, as we go into the year 2023 deeper and deeper, nations are choosing sides. China and Russia, India, Brazil, South Africa, they've been met by many other countries, dozens of them, including the Saudis. They have chosen sides with the BRICS Union, folks, which is a competitive financial system, the BRICS system. And there's a lot of rumor that other countries besides are going to join. Want me to name two of the big ones? Japan, possibly, is being considered. It's at least met the rumor mill. Additionally, Mexico. That's right, folks. Mexico on our southern border. Mexico, not the 51st state. Mexico, the country. And if Mexico joins the BRICS Union, guess what? Is that a financial union? Well, by all appearances, yes. Is it a military union? How hard would it be for them to decide, in order to protect their financial interests, they should involve military? Does that sound World War III-ish to you? Well, get this, folks. After World War II, the Americans cut a deal with the Saudis, with the Middle East, and said, hey, we'll protect you guys from the rest of the big, bad, evil world. We'll protect you, offer our military protection in exchange for you only accepting United States Federal Reserve notes, the dollar, to pay for that oil. Well, that's what they had, folks. And for that, we got the petrodollar. That was created. That made the United States dollar, or Federal Reserve note, if you will, the world reserve currency. Well, get this, folks. The Saudis have decided they're going to side with Russia, and they're making deals with China. And some of that is political in nature. Some of it is military in nature, and some of it is energy in nature. And guess what is happening now? The Saudis are going to cut oil production by 500,000 barrels of oil per day until the end of 2023. 500,000 barrels per day. That's 15 million barrels of oil per month. That's a lot of oil, my friends. High gas prices will be coming back. Now, are they going to raise those prices through 2023 and get to 2024 and then raise their production and help Joe Biden look like a hero if the fuel prices come back down from $10 to $9 to $8 to $7 to $6 and everyone's happy with $5 to $6 gas for the next election cycle? Does it feel to you like we're being screwed over and they're just playing freaking games with us? That's what's happening. Every couple of years, we're supposed to believe an election helps. Every 4 years, we're supposed to get a better president. But all we seem to get are games and getting screwed around. Yep, screwed around, folks. We're at 358 people live, folks. That's more than President Biden gets live. Share that internet address up there. Hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the notification bell down below. And yeah, hit that thumbs up as well to tell YouTube we want more of this type of content. We don't need Dan Blather. We don't need CNN, right? We need people, real people with real ideas talking about real topics. That's why they shut us down, folks. That's how they silenced us, by taking away our free speech and by punishing us. And one of the ways that we can tell them that we want our voices back is to hit the thumbs up and to be sure and become a subscriber and then send that out. Don't count on them. Cut and paste the internet address and text it, email it. Get it out there. People need to wake up. They need a hell of a wake-up call if I ever saw one. Literally, folks, we need a huge wake-up call. Now, the trans. That's right. They're still in the news, folks. And they are still being violent. They're still attacking people. They're drawing blood, folks. Now, a Canadian conservative went to a rally in Vancouver. And well, the Vancouver police didn't do anything about what happened. Right? Yes, trans fruitcakes are violent, folks. And they express it openly. They express it easily over any trigger word or any thought in their head. They just have to see a straight male, a conservative, or someone they think is straight or conservative, and they'll go off. And they're compulsive, folks, like infants. Infants, except they truly are adults, but their behavior, I am going to submit. Does it or does it not remind you of an infant? Yes. But what about someone with a mental illness? Isn't that what you would expect from a mentally ill person? Is that they just go off at any time? I got you, Oliver. These people go off over anything, and that is what mentally ill people do. They lose their shit. Now, a video, folks, of an attack on Mr. Elston. His name is Chris. Video was captured of him viciously being attacked many times publicly, right? Now, one of the attackers was basically described as a deranged biological male dressed up as a woman, right? And Mr. Elston was giving an interview when this psychopath approached him and started screaming, "You suck, fuck you, you're not wanted, fuck you, you fucking idiot, fuck you," right? Truly mentally ill behavior was being demonstrated. And we're seeing that at every rally. When the legal professor goes to Stanford University to talk about law, he's met with that type of language. Mentally ill. Oh, wait. Again, why did the judge get this treatment? Well, because he did not give special privileges to a pedophile who wanted to have their pronouns and their name recommended or recognized by the court. So they went off on him. Folks, these people demonstrate nothing but mentally ill behavior. And that's what makes them so damn dangerous. I've said if things get really bad, they shut the power off. We lose food, whatever, right? That 10-mile area around you. If there's anyone nuts in there, that's where it's going to be. Got a tickle in the throat. I've got me a rocks, Scottish water rocks. And there's a saying on the back of the glass, and maybe I'll read it in a bit. But so, anyways, this fruitcake started screaming obscenities, and other fruitcakes, other trans people, joined the "fuck you" crowd and chants. And then the assault began, folks. And all that happened with the police was they stood around and did absolutely nothing to protect people who were being yelled at and assaulted. So for me, it's easy to see that government, whether it's Canadian or American, whether it's English or European, they want these lunatics to feel safe. They want them to feel justified in their violent behavior. Do they want more mass murders, the governments? Well, they're going to get it if they keep this up. Fruitcakes and freaks, folks, should be locked up, not applauded, not encouraged, and not given access to children. Mark Dice did another outstanding video this morning. So credit where credit is due, showing a classroom setting with drag queens sitting in one chair, uncomfortably putting themselves with children, and then asking the children how they feel. And the kids, of course, say, well, nervous and anxious. Kids don't use the word anxious, by the way. Kids use the word scared. They put these words in these kids' mouths. I feel anxious. Well, it's because you don't understand me. Well, I tell you what, we've seen enough behavior from these people. We do understand them, but kids do not. It's awful, folks. And they're all around us. These left-wing lunatics, not just the trans types. They're in everyone's neighborhood, believe it or not. And it's not going to go away anytime soon. So, where do we go from here? We passed the 30-minute mark, and we just passed 400 people live. Love it. Absolutely love it. Hit that internet address, copy it, paste it in the email, send it to other people, send it through text, tell friends, tell family, wake the hell up. Here we go, folks. Are you ready for what's next? This is just unbelievable, right? Earlier this week, folks, a father, right, a man, has his 3-year-old daughter, and he was inside a Starbucks getting himself a coffee. He wasn't at a strip bar. He wasn't at a ghetto, but he was stabbed to death, folks. And guess why he was stabbed to death? Take a wild guess. Because he asked the man to stop vaping near his child. And you see some of these vapors. I mean, some people, they vape a little bit, they just kind of let it go, you know. I've seen other people, they look like a freaking choo-choo train, right? They inhale a bunch and they just like, whoosh. And you know, me personally, I couldn't give a shit. Sometimes they smell like coconut, and sometimes they smell like a pear or an apple or some shit, and it's funny to me. But you know, this guy didn't think it was very funny. And I don't know if he was blowing vape smoke in the kid's face or just around him, but he asked, stop vaping near his kid. So the guy stabs him to death. It didn't say that the stabber was a tranny or an LGB type, but you can guess the politics of the murderer. You can guess to have that sort of violent reaction. That sort of violent reaction. Hit that super chat button up there. Hit it if you've got something to say. If you've got a question, you want to talk about World War III as it develops right now, you want to talk about what's going on in Washington, D.C., your pet topic, hit that button, bring up a question. Jolene will put it on the screen, and I'll make you famous, and we'll talk about it. And your subject will help others. Help them wake up. Hit that thumbs up down below. Hit it hard. Bam! And let's get on with the show. This was interesting. Last week, folks, the White House ordered Americans that were living or traveling in Russia to leave immediately because a reporter was arrested. That's right, folks. By the way, I mean, we're nearly at war openly with Russia. Why the hell would you want to be in Russia? I mean, I understand St. Petersburg is supposed to be very interesting. I understand that, you know, Moscow, whatever. But why would you really want to be there and take a chance? So it's already kind of questionable. Interesting stuff. The State Department, you know, on Thursday, ordered everyone to leave and wrote this, quote, "The targeting of American citizens by the Russian government is unacceptable." Now, they arrested a journalist there. Back to the quote. "We condemn the detention of Mr. Gershkovich in the strongest terms." Really? So Russia arresting someone that they said is a spy is really upset the American government. "We condemn the detention of Mr. Gershkovich in the strongest terms." In other news, the Pentagon and Central Intelligence Agency have supplied Ukraine with targets in Russia that result in the death, mangling, crippling, and terrorizing of Russian civilians, along with active duty military Russians. The U.S. government under Gigi Biden, Lloyd the Loser Austin, and General Milli Vanilli are glad those Russians are dead, and more to come. But how dare Russia arrest a spy in their country? Do you see the ridiculousness of these people? This is what's causing shit to hit the fan. They think that they are on some sort of moral high ground in Washington, D.C., as they underhandedly feed intel and then openly give missiles, rockets, bombs, bullets, everything to Ukraine that is being used to kill Russians, as well as Russian civilians on bases, the bridge they blew up, Russian cities, as well as all of the people that the Ukraine military have attacked, all of the Russian civilians. But you kidnap one American journalist named Ivan Gershkovich, who's in Russia, and we're supposed to believe, right? His name indicates he may be from Eastern Europe, and therefore he may be sympathetic to Ukraine and could be traveling in the hellhole of Russia just for the pastries. There's a reason he's there. Maybe he's spying. I don't know. But why the hell would you do that? Yeah, folks, it's ramping up. It truly is. It's ramping up. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable what is going on. Now, the economic damage. Oh, I'm not talking about Ukraine now. You know, what do they want? $1 trillion to help rebuild their country? Well, the fighting has all gone on in parts of the country where Ukraine doesn't control it anymore. The fighting has been in eastern Ukraine that is trying to be liberated, and Ukraine wants it back from Russia. I keep hearing that Russia is going to lose and quit any day now, yet they don't. I know the damage I'm talking about is damage caused by the Jim Jones juice. You betcha. It's time for the Pfizer Files. Now, an economic damage report has shown, folks, that $148 billion in economic damage occurred because of, well, the Jim Jones juice. I'm not talking about the cerveza bug lockdowns. I'm talking about just the Jim Jones juice. $148 billion in economic damage, and over 26 million people have been injured. 26 million people have been injured. Let's just do some quick math. Quick math. Let's see, if the country is 350 million, let's just say 300 million of them are not children. So half of 300 million adults is 150 million. Half say, yes, I'll take it. The other half say no, right? Basically broken along Republican Democrat lines, basically. So there's 150 million people out there who have taken the Jim Jones juice, and 26 million, over 26 million of them are injured from it. That is 1 in 6. 1 in 6 people, according to this report. Just some basic numbers. Ooh, maybe it's 1 in 10. You know, ooh, that's still one too many. If we could just save one child's life. Remember that shit? We're still hearing that one child story. If we could just save one grandparent from cerveza bug, it's worth forcing everyone into their homes. It's worth shutting everything down. To save one grandma or one grandpa's life, it's worth destroying the country and the economy. Unfucking conscionable. But this is where we're at. So thank you, Pfizer and Moderna and AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson. You guys really came through when we needed you. Good golly. Seriously, folks. Now, we've had an interesting couple of weeks as Republicans have taken over the Congress. Right? They have wanted to hold hearings, and they're holding hearings. They've wanted to get some testimony out there, and we're getting testimony out there. Where are the arrests? Where is the impeachment? Get your super chat donations in, folks, and let's see what you want to talk about. But what I want to talk about at this particular moment is Merrick Garland. That's right, folks, the Attorney General for the United States government. Well, it certainly looked like he lied under oath this week. He got exposed, folks, in one of the hearings for telling U.S. Marshals not to arrest left-wing radical protesters who were protesting outside the Supreme Court Justice homes, right? All the Supreme Court justices are supposed to be able to live in their homes in peace, right? So he said, don't do anything there. But he calls for 1,000 more arrests of Trump supporters who were outside the U.S. Capitol. Isn't it fascinating, folks, that they want to arrest Republicans and forgive all these left-wing radicals? This is nothing, folks. It hasn't even begun to start. Imagine if in your neighborhood, the left-wingers start coming out and wrecking everything for whatever reason, name your reason, and you try to protect yourself. Will Merrick Garland come after you and say, we need to arrest that guy because he's a conservative, he's a patriot, he's a prepper? Yeah, that's what they're going to try, folks. They're going to try that shit while these Hitler Youth run around causing nothing but trouble. Now, the good part is there's really not that many of them. Hitler Youth, that is. And I don't think that they're going to stand up real well to direct, shall we say, high-velocity deterrence. We'll find out, though, exactly how much these people are willing to push their luck with us. It's coming, folks. It truly is coming. Truly is. Now, I don't know where you are at. I don't know where you are at, but I know where I'm at with regard to what's going on with Trump and the indictment. 34 counts, federal felonies. They're not just trying to get Trump on nothing, folks. They're trying to throw the book at him. They're showing us exactly how politicized the legal system is. They're doing it, folks. They're doing it. And people in politics aren't afraid to say something about it. Right? James Comey, folks, former director of the FBI, says, it's been a good day. That was his tweet celebrating, folks, the announcement of the indictment for Trump. It's been a good day, says James Comey. The same man who said, yeah, Hillary committed a serious crime. He didn't call it serious. He just said, yeah, she broke the law. Having to do with the server, unsecured in her basement, in her private home. But when it comes to Trump, right, we need to arrest that guy. And that's coming up. Right? We've got young Republicans in New York. They're putting barricades up in the city. They're going to make it a 3-ring frickin' circus. You got Marge Taylor Greene who's going to show up, and I've got some question marks and doubts about her. I've got question marks and doubts about all of these people, folks. Every single player in the game. Every single player in the game. It is completely politicized. People believe that if you don't follow them 100%, then you must be one of the bad guys. And we don't do that here on this channel, right? I want to talk about what's happening with you. I want to hear your ideas. I want to read your thoughts. Not to tell you, well, if you don't agree with me, you're out of here, right? That's stupid, right? We should be able to have discussions and talk about things, bring up ideas, concepts, ideas. And that's how we get to the truth, right? By discussing things. Well, it's going to get nasty, folks. People are picking sides and they're getting downright nasty about it, right? Interesting stuff. And get this, right? With all of, and how much more crap can they pile on your head all at once, right? We've got the tranny mass murder. We've got the military screwing up. We've got Ukraine going nuts. And we've got Joe Biden today walking out, right? Walking, and he looks up and sees someone and says, don't jump, don't do it. As if they're going to commit suicide. I mean, he's lost his shit. Well, on CBS News, the executives there have barred the word transgender from coverage over the Nashville shooting. Why? Because they don't want it out there that that's what the person was. They don't want mental illness talked about. Joe Biden, and folks, if he's not mentally ill or mentally deranged, he's doddering, he's got dementia, he's got big problems, yet we need to hide that as well. And they will, folks. They're continuing to hide him, but even on his best days now, he's not holding up very well. Now, I did say that when he was first elected and sworn in, I was thinking he wouldn't make it 6 months before he fell apart, came unstitched at the seams, and just unraveled. Well, he's made it 2 years plus. Well, there's modern medicine and drugs for you. It's either that or, right, what are we getting? We're getting stand-ins, stunt doubles. And that explains, I guess, the CHP, the mirror aviator glasses to hide everything. Hide the eyes, right? Hide his face. But it's that kind of a world now, folks, where we're met with, well, potential conspiracy after potential conspiracy. But what are we seeing? That these conspiracy theories all seem to come true. I don't think I've ever been proven right more often in my life than I have been in the last 3 freaking years. Interesting, right? Interesting. Now, this was fascinating. Over the weekend in Iowa, the women's basketball team, right, advanced in the NCAA basketball championship. Right? The Associated Press Player of the Year, Caitlin Clark, scored 41 points in the semifinal. A huge record, just kicked ass, right? Now, what was interesting is she doesn't have a dick. And so I want to say this, fight back, women. Keep your sports pure. Keep out the fruitcakes. It was really cool to see this happen, right? Real women playing sports versus why is that one chick dominating everybody, elbowing everyone in the face and towering over it? You know, what the hell? Anyways, yeah, Caitlin Clark, yeah, just incredible game. And she doesn't have a dick. I thought that was freaking hilarious. Okay, Jolene, we've got a super chat donation. Where are we going to go with this one? Who wants to step right up? And it is Blue Cord Devil again. Because here we go. Woohoo! Your super chat donations go to the Go See Your Grandson Fund. The GSYG, Go See Your Grandson Fund. And I can't wait, folks. This is my first grandchild. And I'm very proud. I'm excited. I'm energized. And it's going to break the fucking bank to try and do so. So you guys helping is great. Thank you, Blue Cord Devil. Oh, yeah. Mother's milk indeed. He says, before this whole cashless stuff comes, buy tangible goods. You go to the hardware store, the butcher shop, gardening, etc. Get to a safe place. You and your family can be happy and safe. I think that's happening right now, Blue Cord Devil. I'm down here in the South, in the bunker, locked in nice and tight. But people are continuing to move down here from up north. It is, while it is hot and muggy as fuck in the summer, it's still much better for growing your own crops, growing your own food, raising your own animals, right? It's tricky getting chickens and you get eggs, right? You get some chickens and you have to whack one's head off and have it for dinner. You got to figure out how to pluck them and how to prep them and all that. You'll learn. You know, you get into bigger livestock like goats, hogs, sheep, etc., right? Cattle. It's something worth learning. My son, Lucas in California, is learning it really well firsthand. Getting to a safe place for the family, right? Vegetable gardening, also canning, learning to barter trade, finding people at the hardware store, your local hardware store. Maybe in a big city you can't, but in a small town, you can get to know them there and say, hey, things go wonky. What can I trade you to get things that I need in here, right? He may say, well, silver. Okay, silver dimes, you bet. If not silver, then what? Right? Well, ammunition, food, maybe he would just say, hey, look, week to week, we'll find out. Things can get crazy, folks, in a big hurry. You got your butcher store. There you go, right? Gardening, etc. Get free up here. It's up here that matters the most, folks. It is the prepared mind. You need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You need this plan to understand who these people are, what is happening out in the world. so that you can protect yourself and those that you love. And give this show a big thumbs up right now. Bam, thumbs up. That tells YouTube we want more of this. Give them a big thumbs up, pow, if you haven't done so already. We're closing in on 500 people live as we roll into the end of the first hour of this show. If you got something to say, if you got a thought, a question, an observation, if you want to talk about the future, you want to talk about history in the past, how it applies today, then all you've got to do is hit that super chat button right up here, make a donation, and you'll get on here. We'll put your question up live for everyone else to think about. And when you do that, it helps other people. It's not just this guy sitting here. I don't know everything. All I know is some of the topics, right? So when you participate, you help others. And I think that's really the important part, is we're all helping one another get through this shit. We can commiserate with the bullshit, and we can help get each other prepared with our thoughts. And I think that is all really, really, really good. Now, this is really important. The politicians out there in numerous states, either elected and appointed, lawyers, they're saying, look, it is now time for us to start fighting back. Right? Conservatives, patriots need to become warriors, and people who have integrity and decency need to begin indicting the real criminals, like the Bidens and the Clintons and the Obamas and the Pelosi's. They need to be indicting, charging with crimes, people like Merrick Garland, Attorney General, Christopher Wray, head of the FBI. They need to be charged with crimes, not from Washington, D.C. Now we have the Meatball Bragg or Biggs or whatever the hell his name is in Manhattan, who wants to charge President Trump with crimes. That means someone in the, not at the state level, at the city level. Manhattan DA is going to charge Trump with federal crimes. Well, if that be the case, then political war it is. Every small town in America, every county in red country America needs to start filing charges against Merrick Garland for failing to do his job, allowing mayhem to take place, contributing, folks, to danger and chaos. That's what he's done. Same with the Clintons, same with the Bidens, same with the Obamas, the Pelosi's, same with Governor Gretchen, Governor Pritzker, same with the Cuomos. All of these people who have failed to do their job, to live up to their oaths, need to be charged with being an accessory to the crimes against the country. It's now time, folks. This political war that they've started is going to lead to partisan war and ultimately, I think, national divorce. And of course, that means more and more violence. This is where it's leading. They want to come after us, then we go after them. You cannot win with intelligent thought, not with these ding-dongs, because that's not what it's about. They will lie, they will cheat, they'll steal all day long and feel good about it because they don't have to be morally superior. They can just act like they're morally superior. They don't have to be right or correct in anything they say or do. They just have to act like they're correct and that it's justified and that their actions are in line with, well, their oaths and the law. But that is all they do, is continue to lie and then lie and then lie some more. I tell you, here's an example. Both trans and Antifa activists have decided they're going to protest in Michigan, at the Michigan Capitol. Just days, folks, just days now after what happened in Nashville. Know what they're calling for? Know what they're demanding? These fruitcakes, these ding-dongs and communist Antifa members, they're demanding more direct action. What is direct action? What is direct action? Direct action, folks, is violence. They want more violence. They're running into state capitals. They're interfering with everything that is good about this country and trying to destroy it. This is what they want. They want the chaos. They want it. Right. Now, down in Florida, right, these sick pedophiles have invaded the state capitol. Now, they chanted, "Whose schools? Our schools," because they're pissed off over the legislature voting to protect children. The state legislature, that is the elected officials, want to protect children from pedophile groomers in the schools by keeping them out of the schools. What is wrong with keeping sick, perverted freaks out of schools? Now, once again, what were the invaders, people who invaded the state capitol? What did they say? What was their chant? Whose schools? Our schools. So the schools belong to the pedophiles? Unconscionable, folks. Disgusting. But that's what they say. They just come right out and say it's our schools. No. The schools belong to the people. And their children go to those schools. They don't belong to these freaks. It's not their schools. But that's what they think. They think those schools are government schools. And therefore, since the government supports them, the fruitcakes, that they can claim the schools are theirs. And then they can go to those schools. And what are they doing? They're trying to convert children to their sick way of thinking. Unfreaking believable. All right, we're closing in on 500 people. Get that address out there, right up there, out there. That address, it needs to go out. And you need to hit the thumbs up button to tell YouTube, we've had enough of your shit. We want more of this material here. And like many other producers of YouTube material, creators, they call it. Take your foot off of our necks. Let us speak freely. Let people find our channels and our content. Unbelievable. I've been here 10 years, 80,000 plus subscribers, yet they're holding us down and holding us back. When we have a message that the world wants to hear and we know it. When I go out on the street, folks, and I talk to people, man on the street, one-on-one, they sound more pissed off than me. They sound more conservative than I do. They want to take action right now, and they just don't know how. And I say prep to action. Get prepared. Come here. Sign up. Right? Subscribe. And then take action, which is call, write, email, text congressman at the state level and certainly in Washington, D.C. Your senator and congressman. Write them. That is taking action. But people on the street are pissed off. They want this shit fixed, and they want it fixed now. They're getting mad, and I'm enjoying watching people wake up and get red-pilled all over the place. Now, Jolene, we got a super chat donation. Super chat. Who wants to step up? Who is next? Who has something to say? And it is Otto the Watchdog with a $1.49 super sticker. That is awesome, man. Otto the Watchdog. Tell everyone you know, Otto. Come to the Prepared Mind channel. Subscribe and wake the hell up, and then they can wake up all their friends, all of their family, etc. 80,000 subscribers here, folks. 80,000 subscribers out of 350 million people. You think there's only 80,000 people that think the way we do? No chance. No chance at all. Okay, Jolene, who are we going to roll in next? We got Boomer21 with 22 Canadian dollar. Super chat donation goes into the Go See Your Grandson Fund. Awesome, man. This is what he has to say. I'm convinced that come 2024, along with digital currency, that would be the central bank digital currency, CBDC, the illegals will be allowed to vote, which will far outnumber us when you consider the TDS supporters. Therefore, secession will be the only option. So, TDS is Trump derangement syndrome supporters. Now, the part about the illegals coming here is, well, I don't think they're as good for the Democrats as the Democrats. believe they are or hope they are. And by that, this is what I mean. Hispanics, Mexicans have a Catholic upbringing. They're a Catholic country. Now, if they're criminals, I'm sure they're not going to be as strictly Catholic as non-criminals. A lot of these people coming up here do not approve of fruitcake, sicko, perverted drag queens teaching kids in school. But they will vote for freebies and handouts and goodies from the government and healthcare and everything else. It is going to be a huge problem. It truly is. And I understand exactly where you're coming from. And those that have Trump derangement syndrome, well, we've got a surprise there as well. You see, they decided to indict Trump, this fat ass jerk out of Manhattan, who, by the way, is now going to be facing, you guessed it, potential criminal charges against him, as well as lawsuits against him and his staff. Alan Dershowitz, who I think is a douchewitz, but still, he is a famous attorney. He was one of the ones that defended O.J. Simpson back in the 90s. Alan Dershowitz says that a first-year law student can have this lawsuit, these criminal charges thrown out day one. This whole thing is a freaking sham. The whole thing is a sham. It's a sham prosecution. It is a sham publicity stunt. And I guess we should expect that when we see what we have around us. Shit hitting the fan. Boomer, I tell you what, man, I thank you for the support. And I see secession, or if you want to use the more polite term, national divorce. I see that coming more and more now. There is no way to talk to these people. They are, for lack of a better phrase, intellectually retarded. They aren't anywhere close to being able to understand what it is a government does. Now, it's fascinating, though, how the most unintelligent people understand the harsh, tyrannical rule of a government that says, we'll just kill you if you don't do what we say, and pow! And they believe the government is all powerful and cannot be stopped or restricted, and that people don't have rights, and they can only do what their boss says, the tyrannical government. That's what these leftists are all about. They have no idea what they're asking for. These idiot kids think that they're going to be exempt from being run into the ground and having their lives destroyed. They're absolute fools. But that's what they're asking for. While those of us who have been educated, at least moderately, understand the threats and the problems with socialist governments, we'll be standing there just waiting to have our say in the matter. There's going to be a lot of angry, pissed off people that are going to react, folks. React, and they're not going to react in polite ways. Really, we're not. None of us will. I mean, this is what's going on, folks. If you think that America is the land of the free and the home of the brave, you got something coming. We're supporting a government with a total tyrant who has Nazi brigades doing his dirty work in Ukraine. And now, folks, Ukrainian security forces have raided a monastery. That's right, folks, raided a monastery because the religious patriarch there, Pavel, he has now been arrested. They have evicted the Orthodox priests because they're being suspected of being pro-Russia. Is evidence needed? Nah. Well, don't you dare arrest an American journalist. But, in Ukraine, they're arresting anyone they feel like. It's going to get outrageously dangerous, folks. That's why being prepared is so important. Maybe there's going to be just a few days of bad, hard times, right, where it's really bad and really dangerous just to step outside. And other days won't be so bad. How are you going to get through those bad days or bad weeks? How will you survive a few bad months as the system breaks down and people don't obey? And I'm not talking about you and me not obeying. I'm talking about the left-wing fruitcakes not obeying the law. That is, respect everyone else, their property, and their rights. Do not violate other people's property and their rights. That's called crime. Yet what do they want to do? They want to run down the street. They want to kick down fences. They want to come in your yard. They want to threaten you, your family, your pets. Oh, yeah. Wait till the government here starts acting more like Ukraine. Well, if you don't support us, you're the bad guys, right? Right now, they're censoring us, saying you can't talk about this subject. You can't talk about that subject. Penalties, folks. Penalties. They're arresting clergy. They're arresting clergy in Ukraine. Well, I guess that's what happens if you're suspected of supporting the wrong side. That's how bad it can get, folks, where the government says, you know what, we're just going to do what we want. There is no freedom. There is no free speech. Not going to happen. Unbelievable. All right, Jolene, do we have another super chat donation? And we are just a couple of viewers away from 500. And I think we had David Clinton is now a YouTube member. That is awesome, David. Welcome aboard there. And then David Clinton does, oh my goodness, a $52.23 super chat, a super chat donation. Thank you, David. And he says, Grandpa, hee. I tell you what, I've had a few people, more than a few people, ask me, you feel old now? And I tell you what, David, thank you, sir. And thank you for helping me get back to see my grandchild and my son. I really appreciate your assistance and everyone else. Cheers. Mother's milk right there. Woo! Grandpa, yeah, do I feel older? No, I feel accomplished. I feel like I've done a good job. I was a young man. I grew up into a full-grown man, and then I had sons, my own sons, and I raised them. They grew up into be men of their own, and now my son is having his first child. And now I get to go visit and be the grandpa. That to me is just amazing. I am accomplished. Old? Well, I'm not feeling as young as I did 20 years ago, but I don't know about old, folks. You could say mature, though. And maybe that makes people like me and you more dangerous. I know the demographics on this channel. If I'm 53, approximately 15 years younger to 15 years older, that's the sweet spot for the prepared mind. If I'm 55, that means people age 40 to age 70 like to listen to this channel. I'm 53. I just did 55 for easy math. So we're an older crowd. We've got a little more moxie, a little more brains, right? A little more experience in the world. Well, so what I want to say is we take responsibility for ourselves. We have to take responsibility for ourselves and what's happening in this country, and not just blaming others, right? So that's why I say prep to action. I don't just want to sit around and bitch and whine and piss and moan about stuff. We need to take action and stop blaming other people and start going after the bad guys. Now, get this, folks, NPR, National Public Radio, they are not responsible, nor are they experienced at life, nor are they intelligent thinkers. In fact, massive layoffs have occurred in NPR. Why is that? Well, they don't have the funding they needed, folks, whether it's private or public, right? National Public Radio. They're losing, folks. They're losing, just like CNN, just like CNBC. They're losing their audience. They're losing funding. They're losing support. If people don't want to listen to NPR or CNN, if people don't want to listen to NPR and NBC, doesn't it make sense that they would want to be here on the Prepared Mind channel, listening to facts and truth, at least being challenged to think? Unbelievable. And we're well over 500 people live now, folks. I've been trying not to say anything, watching it, and we're going up, 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 up. Hit that link up there. Get that internet address and send it out there to others so they can come here and wake up and share and share and share and spread the word. It is time to wake up. It is time to take action. And that action is prep to action. Get prepared and then tell your congressman, literally, time to start arresting these freaks out here. Time to start indicting the criminals, all of them at the local level. You can now do what? Charge people with crimes. Who? Hunter Biden needs to be charged with drug possession, intent to sell, distribution, everything, whatever the terms are. What? Snorting cocaine off a hooker's ass is not a legal thing. He needs to be charged with possession and then prostitution. I mean, how much more else? Hillary needs to be charged for having a server in her basement illegally, unlawfully. It's a federal violation. Someone at the local level needs to charge her. We need to get these people, folks, in the crosshairs and start taking them down. No more of this. Let's just have a hearing. I want indictments and I want impeachments, period. And you should be saying the same damn thing, right? None of this just complaining about it. And I'm going to go stick my head in the fucking hole in the sand and call myself a patriot. You got to do something about it. Get lots of guns, get lots of ammunition so you can protect yourself in the event of an emergency. And in the time being, right, that's when you take action as I'm describing. Keep that other stuff in reserves. It's called the Second Amendment. Do not ever think of giving that up. Not 1 inch, not 1 iota, not 1 magazine, not 1 round of ammo. Don't give up any of that stuff. Keep it in reserves. That's our reserve army. That's our reserve backup. That is patriotism that comes inside of a nice, shiny brass case. Well, folks, the left are a bunch of whiners and sissies. At NPR, they got laid off. So what did? They had a meeting and they threw a tizzy, hissy fit. And guess what they said was the reason that they're having their precious NPR jobs lost? It's your fault. That's right, folks. Racism is causing NPR to lose listeners, and transphobia. Are you telling me that NPR is all about, well, anti-white and pro-drag queen and trans? And since they're failing, then people must be against they're anti-white, which means they're pro-white, which means they're racists. And they're against the trans people, so they're transphobics. I tell you what, I think they are normophobes. That's right, folks, normophobes. I'm not a fearful person of these trans. I'm not a transphobe. I am an anti-trans. I don't like their way of life, and I don't like their attitude. I don't like their culture, and I don't like that they want to groom children to become little sexual stooges for them and join them in the world of trans, LGBT crap, whatever else. They're a bunch of sick perverts. And if they want to be that, fine. Do it way over there in your own property with the windows shut and the doors shut and the blinds pulled. Just get the hell out of our faces and stay the hell away from our kids. I'm not a transphobe. I'm anti-trans. And I'm an anti-racist. I'm tired of this racist shit coming from the left. Leave white people alone. Leave black people alone. Leave brown people alone. Leave all the races alone. Instead, they want to blame and call it racism because they're losing their jobs. How about because everyone's sick of their bullshit at NPR? Unfreaking believable, folks. But believe it. It is real. Oh, those racist Republicans. Oh my gosh, they intentionally don't listen to their communist, our communist filthy crap and lies at NPR. Crack me up. All right, Jolene, what do we got? We got something banging around out there. What is it? It's Orlando with a $2 super sticker. Thank you, Orlando. Appreciate it, man. Every little bit helps. Every little bit counts. What am I doing? Well, I need to head back to, well, California to go visit the grandson. To go visit my son and grandson and say hey to the little guy, check in with him. And that's what we're doing. We're raising funds for that. Okay. Well, apart from that, right, what is going on? Really, what is going on right now, folks? Let's take a look around the world. Guess what Bud Light is supporting? Dylan Mulvaney, his 365 Days of Girlhood video. Guess what? Dylan Mulvaney is a trans person, and Budweiser wants to celebrate them. So hashtag boycott Budweiser, boycott Bud Light. Folks, vote with your pocketbook. If you're a Bud fan, this is what they want to do. They want to piss in a can and give it to you and tell you that's the good stuff. That's what they're doing, is they're pissing on your morals. They're pissing on everything that it means to be an American and to be a decent fucking human by pushing this crap and this trash. Coca-Cola wants to say what? Be less white. Budweiser says have less dick. Cut it off. Be a tranny. Unfucking believable. A trans person that started as a guy and wants to be a girl is not a girl and doesn't get to participate in girlhood. That's not a girl. There is no girlhood there. You're still a guy. You're just pretending to be a girl. I could pretend to be a giraffe. I could pretend to be a fire hydrant. In both instances, I'm not one, no matter how much I say I am or wish I was. You don't get to wish your way to be what you're not. If I said I'm Joe Biden, I identify as Joe Biden, does that mean I get to go to the White House and they have to let me in and they have to treat me like the president? Of course not. It's fucking ridiculous. So why is it that some fruitcake gets to make some outrageous claim and we're just supposed to accept it? And major fucking corporations are going to support it. No more Budweiser products for me. Thank you very much. Woo! Oh, and here's another one, folks. Well, you shouldn't be saying anything like that, John. You shouldn't be standing up to these fruitcakes like that. Well, Trump isn't going to be allowed to speak either. They want to issue a gag order because they don't want him campaigning while he's in court or being tried or anything else. Isn't that interesting? You take the guy who's running for president, the guy who's in the lead, who's going to be the nominee, and you charge him with a bullshit crime and then hit him with a gag order so he can't talk or do anything? Does that sound American to you? Folks, the entire system is now fully politicized. The courts are fully politicized. They're weaponized. And it is unbelievable. Truly are. They're truly weaponized. I mean, I talked about Geraldo Rivera, right? He says that this indictment against Trump is unfair. He said, this sucks. If Geraldo Rivera is saying that, folks, what really is going on? What really is going on? Well, unbelievable, unbelievable, folks. But believe it, it is real. It is real. Whether we're talking about the freaks in the legal system or the freaks on the street, the freaks in Washington, D.C., folks. Unbelievable where these people are taking this whole thing. You know, there's a type of justice that's out there. And I'm not pushing for this. I am not promoting violence or condoning it, anything harmful or dangerous. But let me tell you how pissed off people are getting. In San Antonio, down in the great state of Texas, someone stole a dude's truck. He stole his truck. Now, back when I was in my 20s, I had someone steal the tires off of my Jeep. I left it overnight, and I came back the next day, and it was up on wooden blocks. Someone stole my tires. I was hot as fuck. I was pissed off. And I actually went and found those tires. Well, I didn't shoot anybody. I didn't do anything bad. I just let the police go arrest this guy. In San Antonio, folks, a man used Apple AirTag to track down his truck. And then he shot the guy for being a thief. Killed him. San Antonio, Texas, for stealing his truck. What do you think is going to happen, folks, when shit really hits the fan and parents have had enough of this crap in school? I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. If someone's willing to kill someone else over their freaking truck, imagine what they're going to do to these fruitcakes as they continue to push and become more and more obscene. Literally more and more obscene, more sexualized, more disgusting, as they become more and more corrupt in Washington, D.C., as they push the FBI to become more and more a political Gestapo. Well, Winsome Sears, who is a politician, she's a black woman who is a conservative. Well, she decided that she was going to give someone a piece of her freaking mind. She went on a liberal show. And what liberal am I talking about? None other than Bill Mayer's show. And she didn't back down, and she didn't give up an inch. Right? You know, in the video or in the show, she was being, they kept trying to change the subject on her. And the subject was the trans person who killed those children in Nashville. And they kept saying, no, we don't want to talk about that. You know, it's about a subjective sense of gender identity and respecting that. If someone thinks they are a man, then they are a man. But in this case, they are not doing that. And Winsome Sears says, hang on. You know what? This person murdered 6 people. I don't really care what you say you are. You murdered 6 people and 3 of them were children. You don't get a say. Well, she's dead now, so you don't get a say in telling us who you are and what you are about. You killed 6 people, and that's what really matters. Right? This is the conversation that's going around, folks. Right? This is what's going on. This is the conversation people are having around the kitchen tables. In churches, I hope. People are waking up. Winsome Sears said, well, you brought it up, so now we are on to something else. Here's the thing. I'm a parent all day. I get to decide what happens in my child's life. Not you, not the government, not anybody. I don't co-parent. I had this child. I'm responsible for this child. And if anything happens to little Johnny, you're calling me, right? As you should. So what I'm saying now is if I don't want my child given lap dances at school by a drag queen, I don't want it done. That's happening. Well, so James Kerchick says, do you think the state should have the right to interfere? And again, Winsome says, I'm talking about as a parent. I'm a parent. Forget the state. I'm a parent. This is my child. I will make a decision about what happens. Anyways, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, the conversation, the fact that they make it out to be nothing, like it is nothing. Oh, crazy shit. Well, here we are, folks. We're at 90 minutes on the show. We're at 535. A second ago, it was 540. Live, folks, live, going on, heading towards 2 hours. 2 hours. What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? Hit the super chat button up here. Give us your question, comment, statement, thought, joke, historical perspective, or future prediction. And we'll talk about it. We really will. It's incredible what is going on with these people out here, what they are up to. Do you have any doubts that they're trying to bring this country down? Right? This hero dad, folks, just went bonkers, just letting the school board have it, who was protecting a teacher who told students to describe their sexual fantasies in X-rated version, right? Parents are not demanding to recall the school board, right? And what have we been hearing, folks? That these freaks aren't hurting anyone, right? Right? Well, the lefty freaks, if we do anything, folks, they scream trauma, they scream depression, they scream psychological damage when they're upset and they want to screw other people. That's how they got prayer out of schools. They got prayer out of schools that way. After they got that out of schools, then what? They got rid of the Pledge of Allegiance. And they brought in this, right? You know, they say that you aren't allowed to psychologically damage them with our prayer in schools. But when they want an LGB or tranny or drag queen to traumatize others, they claim, hey, they're not hurting anyone. It's interesting. It's the double standard. And I think that's really important to understand as we move forward. There is a huge double standard in the world. There's a double standard. Joe Biden has been implicated in some of the worst corruption in the history of this government. And what are they doing? They're pushing the prosecution of President Trump because they say he broke a federal election law having to do with paying hush money to Stormy Daniels. That's what they got. That's what they have. It's unbelievable, folks. It truly is. Where are they taking this entire mess? All right. Let's change gears here. Did you know that the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, MLS, NHL, and the NCAA are going to start a coalition? It is called the Smart Heart Sports Coalition. And what is it designed to do? What is the intent? It's to prevent sudden cardiac arrest among high school students. Are you kidding me? Right? We haven't done this all day, so I wanted to bring it up. That's right. It's that time. Take a wild guess. Right. As if sports leagues can stop cardiac damage caused by the DNA modifying agents that are just rammed into the body by Fauci's agents of death. Right? Before the Jim Jones shoes, children never, ever, ever had heart attacks. But somehow the professional sports leagues and this publicity stunt is going to reverse damage to children's hearts and their bodies. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. Well, let's do this. Let's switch gears and go back again towards Washington, D.C. Joe Manchin. Remember that guy? Joe Manchin, Democrat out of West Virginia, senator. He was fighting the Biden regime, fighting with them, trying to get things fixed, trying not to screw up. There's even talks and discussion of Manchin becoming a Republican. I love how anytime someone says, I've had enough bullshit, they go, oh, then you want to switch parties. Well, we've got how many rhino Republicans out there? They're not switching parties. They love being a Republican because they get the votes. And then they just vote Democrat, but they don't want to be Democrats. They just want to vote Democrat. Unbelievable. Manchin's pissed off right now because the White House under Biden is, quote, writing rules and regulations that are totally foreign to the Inflation Reduction Act. That's right. Manchin got screwed. He got screwed. They lied. Imagine that. The Democrats even lied to other Democrats. Surprise! Don't be, folks. And writing rules and regulations that are totally foreign, not only to the Inflation Reduction Act, but probably totally foreign to the Constitution as well. I'm not surprised by Biden doing this. Everything is couched in this religious political language they have of, well, we're here to fix that. It's the Save America Act, but everything in it destroys America. It's the Patriot Act, but everything in it is unpatriotic. It is the sophistry and the doublespeak and bullshit that people have had enough, and we've caught on. We've caught on. It is time now to prepare and start fighting back. Prep to action. You know what? Even Just having to say it's time to fight back politically shows you where we're at. We should not have to fight with the government, folks. We shouldn't have to argue with the government. We shouldn't have to protect ourselves from the own government. The government should know the Constitution, know that it limits them. They should know the restrictions. They should know all the rules. There should be no need to fight them. They should respect the Constitution and our rights, but they don't. So we have to now fight back. That shows you how far down the road we are into SHTF. The government used to keep an eye on itself, folks. It used to self-regulate based on the rules, the Constitution. Not anymore. Now they pass legislation and do whatever the fuck they want and say, well, that was the legislation. There's not enough legislation empowering the government to do all kinds of stuff. It's in the energy system, oil and gas, electric, nuclear. It's infiltrated every sector. Education, law, military, of course. That has something to do with protection of the country, right? Except no, they want people having the sex change operations paid for by you. Good golly, folks. Good golly. Okay, now, I think I want to finish up this last half hour of the show. Well, with super chats, what you guys want to talk about, let's start with that, and then we'll roll into what I think we really need to focus on. Jolene, where are we at? Oh, man, it is Blue Cord Devil again. First off, any super chat donation above $50 buys me one of these and funds my trip to go visit my new grandson. I want to thank you, Blue Cord Devil, very much, everyone. Semper Fi, Prost. And that is a lot of shots tonight. Woo! Okay, he says, as Umand and a few others said in the chat earlier, make sure to have your own sources of protein. Remember, during the Great Depression, deer and antelope were nearly hunted to extinction. Get back to your grandson, Grandpa. Enjoy your time. Thank you very much, Blue Cord Devil. Yeah, understand that in times of emergency, the deer, the livestock, or rather wildlife, good Scotch, it cannot sustain the nation. You know, hundreds of years ago, before we had a huge population, people hunted to feed themselves year round. But there's so many people that it doesn't work. You have to have food created in the system we have today. It is sustainable, and it has sustained us. It has. Right? Beef, pork, chicken, turkeys, duck, goose, turkey. Did I say turkey twice? Everything can be domestically grown in quantities that are sufficient to feed everybody, because we're all here right now alive, and it is sustainable. It doesn't require GMO. It doesn't require GMO. GMO is hurting us and is hurting the world. It doesn't require genetically screwing with food and animals. Just do a good job of raising things the way they are. But if things get bad, guess what? That protein, or rather animal food, disappears very, very quickly. And there aren't enough fish in the lakes and rivers to feed everyone. Nope. There aren't enough fish in the coastal waters to feed everyone, except the locals. It's just not going to happen. There are way too many people here, folks, that rely on this system that's been developed. And if it's affected, there's going to be nothing but trouble. People will lose their minds. Eating bugs is not the right substitute. Eating fake meat, impossible meat, bullshit meat is not the correct substitute. We need real animal protein. There's not just one type of protein, folks. There's dozens, if not hundreds, of different protein combinations and chains that we need. And you don't get those from eating bugs. Eggs, chickens, everything. Beef, Everything that is real is the food we need to eat. All right. Now, coming up this week, what is important? What is important? I'll tell you what important is, right? What is important is what they do with Trump. Now, it's odd. It's 2023. The election isn't until the end of 2024. Why is this Trump thing important? Well, right now, folks, he is now more popular than ever. The event known as the indictment of Trump is so polarizing and so transparent in its corrupt bullshit state that his popularity has increased even more. Right? I mean, even Geraldo Rivera is taking his side, saying that this is bullshit. It's making him more popular. And it's funny that they're letting a little Manhattan district attorney do this and take all kinds of heat, trying to help Joe Biden and the Democrat Party out. Unbelievable what they're doing. They are making Trump, folks, very, very popular. What do you think this is going to do in the coming weeks? Remember, we have an entire, shall we say, population of Trump derangement syndrome morons out there. And they're going to lose their minds. If Trump is arrested and put in handcuffs, they're going to lose their minds and think everything has been justified to this point, and they need to keep doing it. If he isn't arrested, they're going to lose their minds that he wasn't and that he should be. I mean, obviously, he's a criminal because they've got papers that say so. And for Republicans and those that are supporters of the president, they're going to lose their minds. I mean, seriously, I'm pissed off as hell. I mean, it is pure partisan bullshit politics and the weaponization of the justice system. It is now making the Star Chamber courts of England from the 1700s look legitimate, smell legitimate, even though those courts also, folks, made up charges, false charges, arrested people under false crimes, and held trials. No jury of their own peers, right? Sounds like the trial that Trump is going to, you think he's going to get a trial by peers or a bunch of whacked out Manhattan lunatics who are left-wing fruitcakes? You think they're going to be the ones that make it into the courtroom? You bet they will. That's what we have to look forward to, folks, is this country is torn to pieces over Donald J. Trump and over the left-wing lunatic politics. That's where they're taking us. All right. Let's see. I never did hear from Michael. Did Michael throw a question in here anywhere along the way? I nothing from Michael. Okay, very good. Just crazy, folks. Crazy. Give me 1 second. I want to look up one more thing. There's one thing I'm waiting for coming through tonight. You know, and what kills me is there's some things I'm not allowed to talk about. Still, I'm not allowed to talk about what happened in November of 2020. Nope. Nope, not allowed to talk about that. I'm not allowed to use certain companies and their names. Not allowed to do that. What do you think, folks? Do you know what I'm talking about? Everything is now politicized. Even corporations. Right? Even corporations. Bud Light and Bud is gone woke with their fruitcake tranny beer. Well, that makes them what? An ESG company compliant, Budweiser? I mean, literally, a tranny gets their face on a beer can. Does that make any sense to you? How many cowboys are going to drink a can of beer with a trans on the can? Unbelievable. And they talk about taking it in the can. Anyways, that's ESG crap, folks. That's environmental social governance. That's Budweiser showing that it's woke. Well, in Kentucky, folks, the governor there has signed a bill that is banning ESG investment with public pension funds. This country is dividing itself. We're going to have, right, a come to Jesus moment with where this country is going. Kentucky has stepped up. Tennessee also. But what do they have there? As soon as they stepped up, especially after the attack last week, isn't this weird? We have a bunch of sexual fruitcakes tearing this country apart. We have corporations supporting it. We have lawyers using it. Right? If we're supposed to celebrate sexual licentiousness and perversion, shouldn't Stormy Daniels be like doing anything with her? Shouldn't it just be just fine? I mean, why is anyone in trouble for having anything to do with Stormy Daniels? That's her choice, right? Oh, no, he broke the law regarding how he dealt with Stormy Daniels. See, that's the problem. Oh, you mean like breaking the law, like throwing your gun in the garbage, Hunter Biden? I mean, how many crimes do we have to hear and see? How about Anthony Weiner? Does everyone remember Anthony Weiner and his laptop that had a Clinton insurance file on it, meaning he had protection from the Clintons because of what he had? Where do you think this is going to go this week? This week, where do you think this is going to go? I mean, while we're playing this game worrying about whose face is on a fucking can of Budweiser that I'll never drink again, this is now the third night, folks, that Israelis have been putting airstrikes on in Syria. Yeah, folks, World War III is fucking raging in some areas. It's raging in formerly Eastern Ukraine. It's being fought down in Syria. You have Iraq. Iraq is joining what? Iran politically? Or is it the Saudis in Iran? That's right, folks. Certain parts of the world are coming together and becoming allies as these fights continue. As these fights continue, our banks right now are crumbling. Can you hear it cracking and creaking the floor as it crumbles underneath them? I haven't even talked about the banks today. I haven't even talked about it. Deutsche Bank, Germany's massive bank that supports all of Europe, it is in shit big trouble. It really is. Right? We had the second largest bank on the planet, Credit Suisse, get bought by UBS. In America here, folks, we've got our bank system just taking a shit. Unbelievable. Yet, here we are. It's happening. And rather than doing what needs to be done to fix it, they're doing the exact opposite. They're doing everything they can using the same techniques that caused the problem, only they're using the same techniques thinking it's going to fix the problem. Oh, so let's see, we've got problems sexualizing kids in school. Well, let's do more of it, not less of it. Oh, we've got problems with the money system failing because of all the money printing they've done. Well, let's print some more to make sure the banks don't collapse. That's what these people are up to. Instead of fixing things, they're making it worse. I mean, it's incredible. Festerman, Uncle Festerman, is now home from the hospital, right? With severe depression. The man is literally mentally ill. And the left said, well, you know, politics is we need someone like that, someone to represent those with mental illness. I think we got plenty of people representing mental illness. They're all Democrats. And they're representing the mentally ill like you can't believe. But yeah, Fetterman is now home. Has he actually gone to Washington, D.C. and done anything? Yeah, I tell you. We're in big, 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 big trouble. Are you prepared for it? Are you prepared for shit hitting the fan really badly? I want to know. Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense? Do you have a plan together in your freaking head? You may, and you may be really good at it, but what about your neighbors? Have you thought about them? Where are your neighbors in this mess? Are they awake? Now, I'll tell you what, and I'll be completely honest. In the area I'm in, I don't think my neighbors are as ready as they should be. I think that they think that because we live in a nice conservative area that everything's just fine and that there'll be no problems. I don't think so. I think that puts us in a very big problem, a very big, serious issue. Can happen even where I'm at. And because of that, folks, I'm taking extra precautions and doing everything I can to be even more prepared. Honestly, like this area is my understanding that when they started doing their marches with their fruitcake kids, right, the BLM types, they came marching over a bridge trying to get to this section of the country. And they were met not with bullets and force, but by rain. And they got rained out. It was a rain delay for the fruitcakes, and they never came back. But when people run out of food, folks, I don't think rain will stop them. I don't think hot weather will stop them. In fact, I think it'll make things worse. I really do. Oh, unbelievable. Okay, let's do this. Jolene, who do we have up? We've got just under 10 minutes left in the show. And we've got Boomer21 with another Canadian super chat donation, an $11 super chat donation. He says the ANZ, Bank of Australia, New Zealand, is already starting to go cashless. Okay, now cashless, cash and cashless banks. And we're back up over 500 people live right now. Hit that thumbs up. Everyone that's showing up, hit it. So we can tell YouTube this is the content we want. Not all that ESG, softball, fruitcake crap. We want real hard discussions. Now, cashless. What they do not want you to do, one of the advantages of the central bank digital currency is you can't pull your money out. There is no money. You cannot pull your funding out of it and put it in another bank. They want to get rid of all of the banks, folks, and have, let's just use the number 5. It could be 4, it could be 6 or 7. They want 5 banks, and only 5 banks in the whole country to handle this central bank digital currency. So you can't pull your money out of First National and go put it in Second National. You cannot look at one bank and go check their financial statements. And folks, you're allowed to legally ask them for financial statements about their safety, about their solvency, about their investments, everything. And you can find a bank that is safe. Well, guess what? They don't want you to be able to do that. They want to shut down all the little banks and put everything into these big 5. The big 5. Let's see. Let's try this. Yeah, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, right? Chase, Citi, Bank of America. There's 5. They want those 5 banks and none other, so that you can't take your money out of one and go to another. Where are you going to put it? What are you going to get? You can't take your money out. What are you doing? Nothing. There's nothing there for you. It's all about screwing us over. And if, whoops, there's a problem with the system, everybody is getting a haircut. You got 10,000 central bank digital dollars. Now you only have 5. Where are you going to go with it? Who are you going to complain to? They control everything electronically. See, right now, people are taking their money out of banks, their cash, and they're keeping that cash at home. So that if their bank collapses, guess what? Fuck the bank. They're not losing. But if it's central bank digital currency, you can't take your money out. Well, what about gold and silver? What about copper? What about ammunition? Yeah, buying things that you want that you know have value. Guess what they can stop with the central bank digital currency? You're like, you know what? I'm not leaving money in there. I'm going to buy some silver bars or some silver coins. They can deny that. and say, you aren't buying anything real with that central bank digital currency. See, they control everything. Yes, they're trying it in Arizona. I'm sorry, Australia and New Zealand. They're doing it in China. They're trying to push this all over the world. But you know what they're afraid of? You know what the bankers are very afraid of? That it will flop so fast, that it will suck so bad, that it causes complete chaos and anarchy. Now, for those who want complete chaos and anarchy because they believe the system needs a hard reset, well, guess what? They may get it. They just might get it. But the bankers don't really want that. In reality, the bankers do not want a hard, fast reset because they do not want people waking up. Nope, they do not want people waking up. Why not? They want people asleep. They want you to let them slowly introduce their system, modify it, improve it, make it functional, and get people used to dealing with it. That's what they want. They don't want a system getting used and being proven to be worthless. No, they don't want that. So they're slowly rolling it out to condition you and me to accept it and then to start using it. Oh, don't worry. When they bring it out, folks, they're going to say, hey, this is to be used in conjunction with, in addition to the regular money system. It's not a replacement. It's a supplement. That's right. The Fed coin is a supplement. I still think they're going to call it the Fed coin because they need to give it some legitimacy. What's in a name, says Shakespeare. Well, everything's in a name, right? Would you want to drink Schwartz-Cola? No, you want Coca-Cola, right? Who wants to drive a car with a Chinese name you can't pronounce? A Yaoqi Ma. No, you want a Ford or a Chevy. What's in a name? They don't want a central bank digital currency. They want something with a cool name that you'll accept. Whether it's Fed coin or some other name, they'll come up with a name. Don't worry. It'll make it sound cool. It'll make it sound, well, acceptable. And people will try it, right? And there'll be some troubles, but then it'll work. And they'll be like, oh my goodness, yeah, look at that. It's a mess, folks, and it's coming for you. We've got idiots on the left. We've got idiots on the right, and we're stuck in the middle with you. Folks, this has been a great zoo. I want to thank everyone for participating. I want to thank everyone for buying me some Glenlivet here and sending me back to go visit my kid next month. I really appreciate all the support. But, folks, you're supporting each other, and that is more important. It is immensely important. We've got Pierre Zeidler with a €10 super chat donation. He says, cool friend, gold is super friend. I appreciate the support. And yeah, gold, folks, is super. Silver is super. Gold is money and has been for thousands of years. Silver is money and has been for thousands of years. Central bank digital currencies are a local current, how do we want to put this? The phantasm of bankers' imaginations, designed to captivate you and to hypnotize you into believing it's real. Someone show me a digital coin. No. And if they show you one, it'll be on a digital screen and it'll be made to look like a real coin because they know real coins have value and they go into our mind and we understand them and we see it and we recognize them. We want real gold coins. We want real silver coins. We want real copper coins. In fact, if you've seen a penny in the last 2 decades, it's essentially a copper-coated piece of zinc. It's worthless. It's literally worthless. It's crazy, folks. Are you prepared? Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense? Do you have a plan? No matter where you're at on the planet, whether you're in Australia or over in Europe, whether you're in Canada, the US, or Mexico, or anywhere else on this planet, this show is visible. And I want to thank you for coming here and watching it with me, sharing this time, helping others get prepared. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Semper Fi, Godspeed.